this was just like an opportunity, a prime opportunity to get something that was super unique. Yeah, so the guy was super kind. He's from New Zealand, and to be honest, I don't know how to pronounce his username. He's a real gentleman about it, and he kept to his word because I know that there was another big time collector who made a substantial offer, but I had agreed to pay a little bit more of a premium in order to secure it, and I don't regret it one bit. I ended up selling something like 20 or 30 collectibles, smaller collectibles, and some like sub 100 mints that I had in my inventory to get the liquidity to be able to secure this matching mint piece.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the VeVe Vintage Podcast. Today, we'll be sharing the behind-the-scenes story of a very, very special acquisition that MisterV just made, which is both the empty and complete Infinity Gauntlet Mint 1, 2, 3, 4. They look beautiful, but it was definitely not easy for him to acquire them, so we'll get into that. We also talk about a beer recommendation for me, Will, and also the fact that VeVe is running out really good FAs to drop and how that may affect the app in the near future. Let's get to it. You know what happened?
What's up?
So I forgot to set up my headphone, right? And that was because I am a little bit tipsy for good reason. Which So today I went to the liquor store because my girlfriend wants to get a wine bottle for her friend's birthday.
Mhm.
And I found one of my top 3 beers that I haven't had for years. And so I immediately opened one up and I really enjoyed it. So
Feeling
usually
good,
I would
huh?
have my, what's that?
Feeling good?
Yeah, feeling good. So usually I would have my coffee ready, but because I had the beer maybe an hour ago, drinking coffee immediately would make it really weird. So that's why I'm kind of, that's why I was a little bit tipsy before the call and I forgot to set up my headphone. Have you ever had Rattler?
No, I haven't heard of it.
So Rattler is not the name of the beer, but it's a type of a beer. And I didn't know about its existence until I went to Germany a few years ago. And, you know, in Germany, there's so many types of beer, right? So I went to a restaurant with my friend and she ordered beer. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get whatever you get. And then when they brought it out, I tasted it. It was like mind blowing because this Rattler beer it tastes like a combination of lemonade and beer.
Lemonade and beer.
Yes. It
I've,
doesn't sound like they would mix well, right? But they are delicious.
and what kind of stores is it like? What kind of stores carry it? Is it
I would say the big liquor stores would usually have them. It is spelled Radler. Rattler.
Radler? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to try it out. It's really good.
All right, I'm gonna write that down and then see if I can
Yeah.
find some this weekend.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our listeners, since we're recording, this is the only the only good financial advice I would give you guys is go out and the next time you hit the liquor store, go look for a Rattler beer and try it out because it is delicious.
Very cool.
So let's talk about the Infinity. What's it called? Is it pronounced Gauntlet?
Yeah, Gauntlet.
Gauntlet or gloves? Okay, gloves. Mint. I think I can say the mint now because you posted it on Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's
you prefer? Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
you
fine.
got the Infinity Gauntlet. Sorry, Infinity Gloves, mint 1, 2, 3, 4, and it sounds like you have a story behind it. Can you talk about it?
Sure. All right. So the other day I don't remember if it was drop day or what, but I saw that the non-crafted one or uncrafted one was listed on the market, and I had probably like 4 or 5 different people message me and say like, "Hey, it's on the market." And I saw it, and they had it listed for a crazy amount. It was like 500 when the floor was like 40. I was like, no,
Wow.
I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying
Hmm.
for that. Like I kind of bailed on the Infinity Stones after selling them as a group because I had a matching mint set, but I wasn't crazy about the mint necessarily. So I was okay with letting them go. And anyways, it was on the market for a while, nobody bought it, and then they ended up relisting it for way, way lower. And it was staying there. Just it was just sitting there on the market for like half an hour, and my another buddy of mine he was kind of talking me into it. His name's Austin, and he's also a special mint collector, and he was kind of like, I may he was saying like I may as well go for it if I'm going to pursue the other one, and that if this one gets sold, then I might not be able to finish the matching mint set. And so I was like, God, why are you so right with like he's right about a lot of things, but he talks some sense into me. And so I just went ahead and scooped it from the market for not the 500, but like substantially less than that amount. But anyhow, after getting that, I saw that the other rarity, the secret rare, was available. It was crafted and it had the Infinity Stones, all of them in it. And the who was it? There was somebody who messaged me. Maybe it was Austin. He maybe he messaged me also. Like he shared the link, or maybe somebody from the VeVe Army shared that. Hey, this guy has the crafted gauntlet, and I clicked on the link. I saw who had it. I messaged them immediately. I was like, "Hey, what are you asking for it?" And they said that somebody else had made an offer, but they were willing to hear my offer. And you know, I I I kind of left it open ended, and then they said they threw a number at me. I was like, you know what, like I don't know if I'm going to be able to compete with these other people who have a lot more money than I do, because at some point I'm not going to be able to keep up with these guys, you know? And so, I agreed to the amount that they had asked. And I was like, okay, I'm okay with that amount. I'm your guy. I would like to buy it from you. But if you could give me a couple days, I'd appreciate it because I didn't have the gems ready. I just, for this one, I got caught off guard for sure.
Wait, let me clarify something real quick because I don't know much about this Infinity Gloves thing. So you found a non-crafted, basically an empty glove,
Right.
mint 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes.
and you bought that, right?
I did buy it. Yep.
So there is, and then the second one, which is the crafted one, also have the same mint.
Correct. Uh,
Oh, wow.
but like what's interesting is that when people use the Infinity Gauntlet that's not crafted, so like there's no Infinity Stones in it,
Hmm.
and they use all of the Infinity Stones to craft it into one that does have the Infinity Stones in it, the mint number changes. So they effectively burn the whatever mint number the empty gauntlet was,
Hmm.
and then they get a new mint number with the crafted gauntlet. So
Wow.
so odds of all of the gauntlets having a matching mint number are not. It doesn't look like it for sure. I just don't see how it could happen because so
Hmm.
many people have been crafting the have, so many people have been crafting the empty gauntlets to the crafted ones, right?
And therefore they burn the mint number of the empty gauntlet, and they
Correct.
get a different mint number for the crafted
Yeah.
finished gauntlet. But you essentially have both with the same mint.
Yes. Yeah. It was just by chance because like, with
Wow.
with like some other collectibles, if not everybody, if the store doesn't sell out,
Hmm.
then there's a lot of different mints just sitting in the store, and then after X amount of time, the supply gets burned, right? And then in this instance, a lot of the empty Infinity Gauntlets ended up getting burned in order to craft the Infinity Gauntlets with the stones.
Right.
So this was just like an opportunity, a prime opportunity to get something that was super unique, and I think like a real flex set, So the so the guy was super kind. He's from New Zealand, and to be honest, I don't know how to pronounce his username, but he he was just like he's a real gentleman about it, and he kept to his word because I know that there was another big time collector who made a substantial offer, but I had agreed to pay a little bit more of a premium in order to secure it, and I don't regret it one bit. I ended up selling something like 20 or 30 collectibles, smaller collectibles, and some like sub 100 mints that I had in my inventory to get the liquidity to be able to secure this matching mint piece. So now I have both the uncrafted and the crafted with the same mint number, and you don't see that. You won't see that very. I don't think you'll see much of that
Yeah, yeah.
in the marketplace. I do know that somebody else, his name's Cam's one or something like that on VeVe. I've spoken with him on a number of occasions. He managed to get the matching mint 2019, like for the movie.
It was for the movie. Yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
that's just like amazing. That in itself is amazing.
Hey guys, just a quick message. Every week I, Mr. V, work over 20 hours to bring you the most non-BS VV content. English is my second language, and there were nights we recorded until 1 a.m. My brain stopped processing and I naturally spoke Vietnamese to him, and it got pretty weird. But that's just how dedicated we are to this podcast. In return, we ask you to enter a gentleman agreement. We will continue working into 1 a.m. for you, but we ask you to subscribe to the podcast, leave us a rating, and tweet at us to tell us what you think, because those comments will ultimately help us to refine the content just for you. That's it. That's all you need to do. Let's get back to it.
And I meant me, like myself, being able to acquire both matching mints is an achievement for sure.
And that's one of your favorite mints too.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm really hoping that the FAs kind of dwindle and I don't have to keep sweating like about securing certain mints and certain collectibles because it's getting tough. It's exhausting.
So this guy waited a few days
Yeah,
for
he
you
did.
to get the mint together.
Yeah, yeah. He waited
Wow,
for me for the liquidity, and
that's
then
awesome.
yeah, and I shot him a message. I think he was like sleeping, so I just said, hey, like whenever you're online, let me know when you're available, so we could talk. And then we finished up the fine details, and then he, you know, he kept
This
me.
is the guy that you tag on Twitter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but his nickname is Bit Maori. So Bit Mitmaori, and he's from New Zealand. So shout out to him
Yeah,
for making that deal, because we talked about the opportunity cost of not having the gems and seeing opportunities on the market, right? Like instead of waiting for you, he could have taken the other guy's offer and used the gems for something else. But he gave you, it looks like, a few days to get the gem together.
yeah, and that's something that you don't see very
Yeah.
often. Some people are just ready, like, okay, guaranteed liquidity, sell it, get the cash, get the gems, and then reinvest or hold on to the gems or whatever. So I am super grateful for him to be for being so patient.
Yeah.
And
Are you
yeah,
how do you feel now that you have the two gloves matching mint in your collection? Do you
I
feel
don't
like it's worth it after you sold a few sub 100 mint and like 20, 30 other collectibles?
I don't regret selling that other stuff. Like I don't collect sub 100s anyway. It was
Hmm.
just I just happened to find good deals on them. I sold a bunch of stuff at a loss, but I feel like I've gained something that's just super unique, and
Yeah.
it adds value to my collection already. So it's a great it's a great feeling. I'm relieved because I was really sweating it. I was really like I mean there's again like I've said before, there's 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 no love lost, right? Like when you're dealing with a market where everything is fair game. The guy could have taken the deal. Other people who know I collect that mint could have been on it and bought it before I did.
Hmm.
And a few people did try to. And the fact that I managed to secure it is a big deal. It's a big deal for me, at least. And I think it's when you see my collection like all together, it's that much
It's
more.
nice. It's
Yeah.
very nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So like we were talking about, so I'd mentioned briefly about like hoping that the first appearances kind of dwindle, like that so that there's not so much to worry about because I'm going for first appearances of certain characters.
Yep.
And I think you had something in mind in regards to first appearances.
Yeah, so this is more of a post that I saw on Facebook about people mentioning how we don't have that many good FAs that have not been released yet.
Mhm.
Like we only have the second, third, fourth variations of the FAs. So like the FA I want to talk about here is are those like the Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. The one related to the Facebook post is actually R2D2, and people were saying how it is being undervalued or underappreciated simply because it has more editions than the other collectibles. And this is like a talking point I've mentioned several times, which is it takes like decades or sometimes almost a century even for a brand to build up the reputation for a character. For example, Mickey Mouse, right? I think he came out 1928 or something like that. So it's 95 years. You still have that Steamboat Willie set, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you understand the significance of it, right? And a brand, Disney, spending almost a century building this character, or other brands like Marvel with Spider-Man and DC with Superman, Batman, they only get released, like they only have that first appearance once. Like you either go first or you are not first, and we don't have that many characters that have that historical significance and at the same time first appearance significance anymore on the app. So it's just something that I'm very grateful to see because we are on VeVe early, because we have that opportunity to go for those characters on a drop, buying at retail or buying during this bear market. Yeah, so it's just something that's been on my mind for the past several days.
Yeah, that it's really interesting that they decided, or that VeVe, or the whoever is making those decisions, right? It might be
Mhm.
the the owners of those companies, the people in charge. That why are they cycling back already to the characters that they've already released instead of taking advantage of selling these first appearances that we haven't seen yet? But then then what comes to mind is that interview with that one former Disney
Exact.
exec. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like how they can only cycle through so many characters each year, and that they are very careful about like which ones they go back to because it might be you know David, in interviews, he was talking about how they want to time everything carefully. So like
Hmm.
if they're going to release for a first appearance of a character, they want to make sure that it aligns with a new movie related to that character, or something along those lines. So, but still, why why are we seeing so many non FAs being released? Like we already have like 4 or 5 Mickeys.
Yeah. We
and
have way more than like we have about 45 Batmans as well and Spider-Man too. So I don't care too much about the second, third, fourth releases. What well, not really a concern, but then like maybe next year or 2 year, 3 years from now, if VeVe were to do a drop that would pull in new customers, then they don't have that hit character to drop anymore, you know. So last year we had Darth Vader, or I actually don't mind if they save some of those characters for the future because well, I'm super grateful we have them now. But if they were to drop, I don't know, the FA of R2D2 or FA of Luke Skywalker next year, because it takes a lot of time for people to adopt to NFT, and we need something big to draw those new users in. Yeah, so I'm both grateful, but at the same time, I wish that we have some of that really good marketing material in terms of the FA to get more new users. That is it, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed the episode today. And if you have, remember that gentleman agreement. We will continue working until 1 a.m. just for you. But in return, we ask you to subscribe to the podcast so that you don't miss out on the actionable and valuable insights, everything VeVe and Omi related. Don't forget to give us a rating and tweet at us to let us know what you think about the podcast so that we can refine the content better just for you. Thank you so much. We hope to see you again next time. Peace.